why they make videos on how to manipulate energy and all this stuff about energy fields. Well, I do believe in it, but, to an extent, and you'd have to be able to see these energy balls or energy fields around you. You can create energy because our body is made of energy and atoms and electrons. So it's made with electrical energy. So there's no reason why science doesn't prove that we can make energy and send energy throughout our body, throughout as a defense mechanism against prey that tries to attack us as well. There's suitable things. I wouldn't be able to say you could throw fireballs. That might be a specific different skill, but in order for me to understand energy, you have to have energy to teleport. And I'm not just talking about your spiritual energy. I'm talking about here in the physical world. You got to give yourself, your brain needs to categorize and what's the right word? It's not that it's just manipulating energy, because your brain cells and all your brain functions work with energy, pumping everything through and in and out of your body. And your eyes calculate energy that you can see. Sometimes it could freak you out if you were to see the amount of scientific knowledge that they have on the human body and everything in the world or planet. It would freak you out if you keep trying to control the unknown when we can't even control human life. But you can only teach us smart things. It's up to us whether we learn it. But that's beyond facts. That's just some other subjects. But I do believe in wielding energy. Despite what it is, you can, it's multicolored. Sometimes it comes in colored lights. Sometimes you don't know. According to science, we're made up of all kinds of things. We're made up of blood, water. Our bodies have energy in them. We have chromosomes that are made of electrons and neurons, according to science. Now, this is just basic information. We study a lot of information, but once you pronounce it out loud, you can't really come back from those actions, Whether it's day or nighttime, we should be able to do all kinds of stunning things with our attributes and abilities. And if we ourselves can see them in the energy fields around us, that means everybody else can see them. Now, being colorblind like myself, you might get certain colors mixed up, like pinks and red, blues and purples, I don't know, whites and silvers. I don't know all the colors, but some things, the same with my hair, dirty blonde and blonde. You can get them mixed up. In the light and in the sun, my hair turns blonde. If you can see some of it, it turns colors. But the outside of my hair is dark brown, but the top part is blonde, and my mustache is blonde. So it changes color in the sun. And if I use hair dye, then it ruins, unless it's, professionally done. If I dye my hair, it could ruin the hair dye, and I could have different colored hair coming back. My beard is grayish blonde and white, and I'm only 39, going to be 40, so I'm learning all these attributes about the brain for getting ready to keep myself protected. It's also considered calling it special forces, and I don't mean it in the military way, but there's a special forces that leads into the world. It's another word for magic. It's another word for senses and body technical problems and malfunctions. If we're taking medicine for our disabilities, then it's obviously that the brain has slow chemicals and it's not producing enough dopamine, as they call it, which is part of your chromosomes. Your brain is not pumping out enough information. So you can't just sit back and try to control society from not becoming smarter when our bodies, minds, and souls are requesting that we talk back smarter, we learn brighter information, we try to learn all this wisdom and high technology of fitting in and getting more views and getting ourselves better positioning. So we have to start learning to get over just beating each other up just because we don't understand people's situations. And the way we talk to people is different. You know, we don't just sit around and make threats. Sometimes people make conversations and have laughter and, you know, talk about sports or fancy cars. You know, there's all kinds of things to involve ourselves. And we're not mechanics, so we can't just sit around and I can't talk about taking apart a car and do a video about a car when I don't know anything about cars and the engine and the pipes. And I know little basic information, but a lot of people are trying to dumb these terminologies down for people to understand. And the more we try to talk about how we could teleport or send electric bolts out our fingertips and out our eyes and have energy come out of us, the more society wants to make us look like a freak. But yet, if scientists do it, or people make videos about it, and shamans do all this work, and monks, and all these people with documentations can do it, well, why can't any regular citizens keep ourselves protected from bad spirits and bad omens? You know, we can't always rely on priests and bishops and all these security guards and police and soldiers. We can't rely on the bloods and gangs to keep us protected and all these strong people. You know, you can't do everything yourself. Sometimes you got to ask for assistance. Sometimes you need to make studies in life to understand that things are happening, not just out of the Bible. The Bible's a great tool to read, but you also got to do your research on life. You got to learn about science. You got to learn about love and passion and positive quotes that come out of the Bible. You got to learn it's a part of history of what happened in the Bible. Some of the events are rolling over here in society because they don't want to invent anything new. A lot of people revert to being a part of society because we all have needs, likes, wants, wishes. We all have skills that we all want the world to know, and we don't always know what they is because we're always undeveloped. Some of us have learning disabilities. It doesn't make us not willing to learn or work better. Some of us have physical accidents that can't make us work, and we can't work regular jobs. But yet we can do all these high advanced technology talkabouts, and they can talk about calculus or physics or physiology and psychology, but you can study all this stuff, but just because we don't have the grants of doing 90% of stuff doesn't mean that we're not willing to do it, to learn a lot of things. Especially doing skits, you got to learn to do a lot of different things. And you can create energy waves not just by moving your hands. Sometimes you can do it with your mental and moving objects. You know, I forget what they call that. Sometimes you can move your energy around for people, but it's not an invisible force because I can see my own energy and I can see it. I can see this blue purplish light at nighttime that comes in, and also some shadows that come in and shadows that try to attack me, but I seem to have a defensive mechanism that shoots out a purple blue light that keeps me protected. It teleports me, and I could glide around within 5 feet away from where I'm standing, and sometimes it happens so fast that I can't control it. It happens because my brain is faster than my mind, and my mind is faster than my body trying to catch up. And that's a hard thing to accomplish, especially when I have disabilities. That it doesn't hinder my skills because when I take medicine, it makes me in forward rotation of always being positive and creating a voice of reason to get rid of negativity. It doesn't solve my money problems of taking medicine, but then all these scientists already know that we have answers to all these money problems and all these solutions into life's interests and intriguing collections of conversations and confessions that are we're all held to our own actions. And if we start experimenting with energy and all kinds of new tactics of living, the world is developing, we can end up being in such a world with the multi dimensions and seeing new differences and seeing the world change. And see, being colorblind, I don't see a full sky like as good like you people can. Sometimes it's like looking at a camera view, it's different views. Sometimes I can create with my brain and send out a blue light in my surroundings. And sometimes I use that terminology, teleportation or electrokinesis, which is some of the studies I learned. But, I wouldn't be afraid to tell the public. Same thing I've told around my family and friends, or even a doctor or a physician. I wouldn't be afraid to explain something I see. It's not hallucinating if I see it. If it's invisible, then that would be imagination, and that would be hallucinating if you're imagining things in life. Now that's hallucinating. Like if you meet somebody new and you start seeing yourself make out with a girl, but she's not really in your life. Now that could be a form of hallucination or delusional thoughts. But all this scientific stuff and all this wisdom that we're learning, none of that is hallucinations. Being able to send out energy, it just shows that you haven't done your research on all these videos that have been put out. And like me, I do my research before I talk about topics and freestyling subjects, because I don't want to look like an idiot, because somebody can easily throw in my face, oh, well, you didn't do your research, buddy. And then I look like a fool. But the unknown is not something to fear. It's something to respect and have love and kindness and respect towards it. And when I do that, then it defeats the purpose of acting out in evil. And once I speak out loud with these thoughts, it destroys the negativity that I'm surrounded by, all this negative energy in the energy fields, whether it's in the second dimension or physical dimension. Either way, it all gets destroyed with positive creativity. And it's just, when we watch these newspaper articles on how people can throw fireballs and lightning and all this, moving objects with your mind and moving your body with your mind and moving energy with your mind, it's great things to achieve. But some of us can see all this stuff. Some of us can see shadows. Some of us can see these colored lights that come off. And maybe it's a gift. I consider it a gift. But don't look down on me or be jealous, because we've had accidents that have happened to us citizens, and we come back different. I get tired of explaining the same old story, because my mind is not growing, because it has short brain cells, because of the damage I've done in all this stuff in life. I'm not at 100% like everybody else. I'm only at 80%. So I got to learn a lot of skills before I die and go to the next life. So I got a lot of interests and a lot of skills and a lot of votes that should be out here creating a better society already with just my influences. And speaking of kindness and, of all kinds of subjects, I don't have to sit back and take substances just to give myself happiness or healing from the world. I only take medicine to help with my disabilities. It's got nothing to do with, having addiction. I don't have addiction with pills. I don't have addiction with marijuana. I've been without it for so many years that it just doesn't, the smell is always nice and it brings me back having memories. But once again, I get disregarded. I wanted to talk about energy fields and all the stuff that I studied with the videos, and it piques my curiosity. And what happens in my brain, the way it works, is I can't control it all the time. So that's why I talk out loud on a lot of occasions. I just have to lower my tone and lower my volume so that I'm not disturbing the public. But you learned it from me the most, that there are energy fields in the world, and lights have energy that comes off of it at night. You see a light energy that comes out of the light bulb, so that's already showing energy and electricity that comes out. Now it'd be nice and gift to absorb that energy and teleport it into reality. That's the terminology I use. It just happens to go complete and with that actions.